Over the last 3 years, the Mission Viejo Diablos boys varsity volleyball team has won the Seaview League title 3 times in a row, posting a combined record of 25-1. Going deep into the playoffs, the Diablos have done this under the direction of Coach Ryan Thurlow. A former two-sport athlete at Capo Valley, he has settled in as a Diablo. Today, I'm joined by Coach Thurlo and 3 of his star players. This is Coach's Corner. I'm Paul Higgins, and all the action starts right now. Coach Ryan Thurlow here at Mission Viejo High School, been here 10 years now. Tremendous success, as you saw in the opening of the show. And Coach, you and I were just talking about it. This gym brings back so many memories to me. I used to wrestle in this gym when I was over at Capo, and we would come over here and face the Diablos. And there is a home court, a home gym advantage, correct?
Absolutely. This is the Inferno. So we have small ceilings hanging down, and it's tight in here. It gets pretty rowdy. We've had a lot of success at home over the last couple years. I think we've lost maybe 2 games, maybe 20 wins and 2 losses in the last 2 seasons here at home. So it's intimidating for opposing teams to come in here because it gets rowdy. We got the best supporting crowd in Orange County. They all get up on their feet and go #1 at the last point when we need 1 point. So we have a great, solid fan base here. And there's something special about this place, and it makes me want to keep coming back as coach. Just being in this gym itself is just so fun.
I can see and hear the passion in your voice of why it's special to be here. Was it odd as you were a Cougar in high school that now you're a Diablo as a coach?
Not necessarily. I think teaching is just a wonderful career. So wherever you're going to land, you make the most of where you're at. And to be a Diablo now for 10 years, the spirit has come within me. It took probably 4 or 5 years to actually get that sense of what a Diablo is. I've always been a Cougar. But now with the long success of Mission football, the spirit of this school, and just the athletics as a whole, we're a pretty intimidating school here at Mission, whether you're playing softball, baseball, volleyball, basketball, or football specifically. I love the dominance that we've created here, and it's special to be part of.
It's interesting too, because when you first reached out to me, you specifically said, hey, it's Mission Viejo, but we only have a student body of 1,450 kids. So to experience the amount of talent that you have and the success that you have just here in this gym is pretty spectacular. How do you get that good with these kids? And we're going to talk to some young ones today too.
Sure. I think, well, one of our slogans is here at Mission Volleyball, we reload, not rebuild. So every year it's my responsibility to make the current team better than the last year's team. That's hard to do. We've had some really special teams in the last 3 years. So what happens is I usually get basketball guys, I get track and fields, occasional football guys. Guys, it's an advantage being a teacher on campus, so I get to see these kids and draw them into the program. But because of the success we've had, now people generally just kind of naturally go to the program and want to be part of it. But yeah.
Your thoughts about what it takes to be a volleyball player these days. I watch basketball and I watch all these other sports and I see these tall athletes and how amazing gifted they are at the height that they have. And that transcends right into volleyball. You have some tremendous athletes. What's the difference now as opposed to when in 1994 through 97 you were at Capo playing volleyball?
Right. I think the guys are just generally more fit, more athletic and dynamic. These kids, I don't know what it is in the water over the course of the last 20 years, but they're 6'7", they're 6'8". They're just tall, natural athletes. So it's a pleasure to be able to coach that and not have to, that's not something I can fix. They just come in with that height and talent.
So do they hit harder, faster, jump higher, all of the tangibles that you need? Is that part of it? And also, Coach, is it part of like off off-season training and what they're doing maybe in club volleyball or club basketball or whatever sport they might be in?
Well, when I was playing in the 90s, you only had one club volleyball season. So you only played in the summer club volleyball. These guys are playing club in the fall before they come in and play the high school season, then they go back to summer. So they're year-round volleyball athletes.
Gotcha.
So they just come in geared, locked, and loaded. Not only that, we have a lot of sand volleyball players in our program that are playing 2-on-2.
I notice every time I come to Mission, and I've been coming to this school since probably 76, which was crazy to think of, and this gym is barely changed, right?
Right.
You think about all the history that is at this school, but also I think about the support staff that you have. The coaches support other coaches' programs. More importantly, it's really the fan base and the parents that support the program.
Yes.
Is that true?
Absolutely. Coaches have to be good to other coaches, right? It's an expression. We don't get paid enough, especially in a public school, to not be good to one another. So for example, Coach Thurlo and I have a great working relationship. We want guys to be multi-sport athletes, and that's a dying craft because in our dynamic right now in 2025, it's a one-sport model. But if you look at collegiate athletes, 75% of them are dual sport athletes. So it's really not working to just favor one sport in high school athletics. We should really promote and advocate for two-sport athletes.
Your thoughts about your season this year? You had a great run again. We mentioned it, I mentioned it in the opening of the show. And how do you describe this season?
This season was a special season. If somebody would have told me that we'd win 3 straight league championships, go to the quarterfinals of Division III, which is essentially the top 40 teams in Southern California and California as a whole, I think I probably said, sign me up. However, as a coach, I would have really liked to have broken through to the semifinals. Yeah. And that's something that continues to fire me up to come back and do it next year. But we were 7-1 in league. San Juan Hills we split with, that was a fine program. In 20 wins and 6 losses overall. Our guys really buy in and performed well.
Yeah. How do you forget the losses? I remember the losses more than the wins on a wrestling mat. And as a coach, how do you have your athletes have a very short attention span to failure?
I think the kids are more resilient than I am sometimes. Like you, the losses hang over my shoulders. However, the more you coach, I wouldn't say the more you get used to it, but the less you live and die by the sword, if that makes sense. Like almost every match is 24-24.
Right.
Sometimes you win them, there's times when you don't. And so I'm not in my first couple years where I just went home upset. You get used to it over time.
Yeah. Your thoughts about when you were playing and now that you're coaching, and which one is more gratifying?
Honestly, I think coaching is.
Is it? Okay.
Because for me, it's more of a managerial success. Like I position my players in the place where I want them and make them perform. Not make them perform, but have them in a position to perform to the best of their ability. So there's a lot of X's and O's behind the scenes, hours where I'm thinking, meditating, wondering where is this best showcased for.
Yeah.
As a player, I used to control my own destiny.
Right.
So that's what I loved being as a player. I knew that when the ball was coming to me, I was going to put it away. Sometimes it's grueling for me as a coach not being able to control my own destiny. Yeah. However, you let these boys perform, and more times than not, they have.
Yeah, and they did that. They do that, coach, because you're a great coach. Yeah. You were a great player when I covered you, and it was amazing times then. It's amazing times now, and I know next year it's going to be even more special. Thanks for having us out, and thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
You did a great job. Diablos serving 19-16. So far, they've had great net play, and once again at the net, a block shot, and the Diablos get their 20th point of the set. It's not very often that you get a 3-year captain of a varsity team. That's what we have right here with Evan. And Evan, I have to ask, how did you become a captain as a sophomore?
Right. I think I just kind of brought to the table some leadership skills. I was captaining my club team at the time, and I think just as a person, I like to lead. I like to be the person in charge. I don't like to be the guy that just kind of follows what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And I think that Coach Thurlo saw that in me early on, and saw that I would be a good guy to kind of to lead the players on the court. And when I was a sophomore, I was a co-captain, so there was a senior as well that was captaining at the same time. But I think being able to have that position from like a early position, like I was able to carry those skills into my junior and senior years, which I think is a big reason of the success that we found in those years as well.
Yeah, great success the last 3 years. You've been a big part of that. Your thoughts, you're going to go to Santa Barbara, right?
Correct, yeah.
You're going to play the same position that you did here? Tell me about that.
So unfortunately, I'm not playing volleyball at Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah, because in the recent years, it's been becoming a lot harder to play, especially as my position in college, because there's roster cuts, there's limited spaces, and especially because for liberos, colleges generally only take around 1 or 2 liberos for every like 4 years.
Yeah.
So I decided to just go to UC Santa Barbara. It's a great school, and I'm doing psychological and brain sciences now.
Okay. Did you tell Coach? He's got engineering down here. He might not know.
Right, because I was doing the engineering program here at Mission.
Oh, nice.
And when I first started doing that program, I was planning on majoring in engineering because I thought it would be a valuable experience.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, my brother is an engineering major, and I realized, like, he has some qualities that are specific to engineering that would be very helpful, and those aren't really the qualities that I would consider my strengths. But I still think that taking that program here was very beneficial. It taught me a lot of valuable skills. I can still use those skills that I have in my major to maybe go into a more technical field.
What did you enjoy most about playing volleyball here?
Honestly, the camaraderie. Just being with the guys on the court day in and day out, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I love winning, of course. I'm a very competitive person, but that competition would have no meaning if it wasn't for me going back and talking to my guys about it afterwards, about the dinners after the big wins, and being able to talk about it. Because if I had no like brotherhood, if we just went out, won a bunch of games, but then I had no one to talk about it with, no one to celebrate with, then there would just be no meaning to that. So
part of being a captain is to know when to flip the switch on. One of those switches is momentum. Mm-hmm. Momentum is such a huge part of volleyball. Can you explain that?
Right, so in volleyball, you have to string a lot of points together in order to win because it's back and forth. There's always a point at stake. Momentum is so incredibly key because you have to be able to string points together to put yourself in a winning position. And I think with leadership, like, you really have to find what makes your guys go. You have to figure out how to make them push for that momentum. For some teams, they need like criticism. They need people to say, hey, you're doing this wrong. Like, you need to like really put the work in and start doing your job, right? But for our team, they didn't really respond to that. I found throughout like my time being a captain, I found out that they really respond well to just positive encouragement. And I think that's kind of what helped us be really successful this year specifically. They really just need this positive encouragement. They really need this to gain the momentum.
That's part of the psychology that you're going into. You already figured it out, you know? Would you describe this team as a defensive team, an offensive team, a hard-hitting team, big team? How would you describe this team?
I think I would describe us as just well-rounded.
Okay.
We aren't like super strong in any one area, but we're also not weak in any areas. We don't have any guys that are like All-Americans. They're going over the block and bouncing every ball. We don't have guys like that. We have very talented players, don't get me wrong. We have very talented, very athletic. We've got some big guys. But at the same time, what makes our team is the fact that we don't really have a weak link. Because, I mean, people say you're only as strong as your weak link. We don't have that weak link. Going into the season, our oppo was a bit of it was a toss-up out who it was going to be, and we were kind of concerned at that. But then as we progressed, we found a guy, and he started doing really well by the end of the season. So
I think I know what you're going to answer to this based on what you've already told me. What do you think you're going to miss most about being here and coming every day, which you guys do quite a bit during the year, what are you going to miss most? I think I know what it is, but let everyone know.
It's the team.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss the guys.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, going out with the guys after the games and celebrating with them, there's nothing like it. So that's definitely what I'm going to miss most.
What does it mean to you to be a Mission Viejo Diablo, knowing the long legacy of just outstanding athletes and programs that are here at this school, and here you are, a 3-year captain of a volleyball team?
Right. I mean, I'm extremely proud to be an alumni here. I'm going to be very proud of having gone to this school. Like you said, there's a long legacy of great athletes that come here, and I'm always going to be very appreciative of the fact that I was able to carry on that legacy.
Real quickly, how do you describe yourself as an athlete? You talked about the team.
Right.
What about you?
I'm a very technical player. In every sport, I played soccer for 8 years, from when I was 4 up until I was 12. And even when I played soccer, being a technical player was kind of my forte. And I think that's what I bring for volleyball too, especially with my position being a libero. It's a very technical position because for different positions like outsides, middles, etc., you can just be really big and really strong and really athletic, and you don't need a whole lot of form, and you can still be a very good player.
Yeah.
Libero, it's the complete opposite. You could be super, super small, and I'm not super tall for a volleyball player, and you can still be a great player by just having the form, having the technique. You have to put in the reps to be a good player as a libero. You have to be practicing day in and day out.
You know, I asked you as you approached, I go, you ready for this? You go, absolutely. You did a great job, man. You did a really good job on the interview. I think you're going to be very successful, no doubt. A leader in its own right. Good luck to you at Santa Barbara. It's a beautiful place to be.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was really good. Diablo's on a little bit of a roll, and Tyson Koedel at the net. Huge block. So when it comes to defense, this young man right here is one of the best on the team, leading the team in blocks and hitting percentage. Does basketball contribute to that because you're a two-sport star there?
I think it definitely contributes a little bit to like my speed on the court and mobility, as like I can move around the court easier based on my basketball experience and just my experience overall in like these settings.
So if the athletic director came to you and said, hey, you know what, this year you got to pick one sport. Is it going to be either basketball or volleyball? What would that be?
I mean, that's a really tough decision for me. I mean, right now, I'll probably say volleyball for sure. We had a very successful season, and it was a lot of fun playing with my guys.
Yeah.
But that's a very hard choice that like I've been thinking about a lot.
Yeah. What is it about volleyball that really draws you in? Because it's obviously it's a court sport, just like basketball, but it's a little different, right? It's a lot of different.
Yeah.
But what draws you in?
Volleyball is just, I found it very dynamic, and there's a lot of things that I can discover within volleyball that I didn't know before I started playing volleyball. And it's just, you have to be very athletic. Playing around the net is super fun for me, and I love the game.
Knowing where somebody can set the ball, set it behind them, to the side, whatever, as a defensive player to lead a team in blocks, you must have like a sixth sense of where the play is going to be. How do you pick up on that?
Honestly, I don't know. It kind of just comes to me. I mean, when I see the ball come to the setter, I have to predict where the ball's going to go in order to block those hits. And I just try to be there every time, connect to my blockers, listen to my coaching and my teammates on where to be each play.
So there's a lot of running on both sports with volleyball and basketball.
Yeah.
Which one do you find more demanding on your body?
I would say basketball.
Okay.
In that sense, because you're running up and down the court at all times. You're basically not stopping unless it's fouls or timeouts. And volleyball is a lot of jumping and a lot of demand on your legs, especially because you're always jumping. But like basketball is probably more fatiguing for me.
Yeah. Your thoughts, if you can kind of bring us inside the game, because I've covered a ton of volleyball, but it's always amazing to me to see what you guys are doing. Are you actually calling plays? Are you calling defenses? Tell us about that. Bring us inside when someone is about to serve you.
We're definitely calling plays. The setter was very good this year. He gets us right with all the play calls and different sets. If something's not working, he'll probably switch it up, call a different set. That'll get the blockers off of us so our hits land. And my hitting percentage definitely was my setter definitely helped that hitting percentage a lot and got the blockers off of me, so I've had open nets to hit on.
Are you looking for a place, an open spot on the floor? Are you anticipating that there is going to be an open spot on the floor? You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, mostly I'm looking for an open spot on the floor, but I kind of know where open spot should be once, depending on the set or the defense the other team is running. I kind of have to pick up on that during the match.
Yeah.
And then change my hits based on how the defense is playing or how the blockers are playing me throughout each game.
How do you explain the momentum aspect? I've talked about that already.
Yeah.
But to make a great defensive play, that can change the momentum like that.
Definitely, definitely. Momentum is a huge part of volleyball, and like 1 point with like a big hit can definitely lead to 2 or 3 more points, which is a very big lead in volleyball. As 2 or 3 points can just determine the whole match if you keep siding out.
Talking to Coach, it seems like this is a scrappy team.
Yeah.
It's like there's no one individual star, is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. We don't have one really standout player, even though all our players are very good. But on each defensive play, off each hit, if it comes off the block, you'll definitely see 2 or 3 guys jumping on the floor for each ball. And,
Tyson,
yeah.
you're coming off a spectacular season, another really good season, right? You didn't end it the way you want to end it, but how do you now pick up where you left off, knowing you're going to lose some players, right, at graduation?
Yeah.
And you're going to step up and to do that senior leadership role.
Yeah.
How do you pick up to where you left off, but up the ante, so to speak?
Yeah, we're definitely losing some of our guys, but next year, as Coach Thurlo likes to say, we don't rebuild, we reload. And we definitely are looking for more guys to fill those spots, but we also have very talented guys coming back to the program. And we're going to look to build off of those players, have those players step up, and definitely have new players step into those roles as the older seniors.
What is it about this gym that the coach explained it, right, that it's low ceilings, and obviously you play off the ceiling. What is it about this place that gives you that home court advantage?
This place, I'm just so familiar with this place from playing basketball and volleyball in this gym and practicing here almost every day during the season. We just get used to the low ceilings for passage, like all of our techniques and setting and hits, they're all accustomed to this gym, and like we adjust to those settings. And when we play in other gyms, we're sometimes not used to it, but we get used to it eventually during the match, but this gym's definitely home to us.
What do you want to do in the off season to improve your game?
I definitely want to play beach volleyball a lot, as I can improve my passing there and definitely get more experience with my guys on the beach.
Yeah.
And definitely work on my hitting and build new connections with my new teammates over the offseason.
Do you think about where you're going to be a year from now? Like if we came back and did this interview, because the time the interview we're doing, school's winding down and graduation's about to happen. Do you think about that a year from now? And it's going to go by so fast.
I know. I'm going to try to make the most of this next season. With volleyball, I need to have a great season, really trying to have a better season than this year and go farther in CIF playoffs for sure. And yeah, looking forward to a good year.
I think it will be a good year.
Yeah.
Congratulations on a fantastic 2 years that you've had in the program, and I'm sure basketball court, same thing that you're doing. 2-sport star. I love that the athletes go and do 2 sports. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job. Great interview too.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Diablo's looking to capitalize on a soft serve. Brady Madland, he gets the hit and it drops in for the score. Diablos get the ball right back.
Well, we saved the best for last, right? Is that true?
That's true.
We're saying that because he is the future of the program. Even Coach told me that. Not to dish on any of the 2 previous players, right? Because they're great players. But your thoughts about where you are right now as a sophomore, getting ready to be a junior, and you come off a great year. The future of this program looks pretty bright.
I would agree, yeah. We have heard of some good prospects coming in this next year as well.
Yeah.
But we have some juniors that are pretty experienced, and my sophomore class is really good as well.
You and I were just talking about it, and you said obviously you're playing beach volleyball too, and that game is so different, right?
For sure.
It's so different. How does one benefit the other? Does beach benefit your court game, or is it vice versa? Can you explain that?
I would say it's both. They both benefit each other, but mainly beach being the really technical sport, you're not really allowed to use your hands on at all basically. It's more of your platform. So in an indoor, that's a huge thing.
Yeah. Do you find that when you come off the sand onto the court, you jump higher?
For sure.
Okay.
The sand is so much harder to jump in.
Right, so you notice that right away.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So the more off season that you play in beach, it's going to benefit you when you come back.
Definitely.
Tell me about your game and why you are good at what you do. And it's okay to brag because you're on a TV show.
For sure. I would say my game, I'm a little bit more, I'm not really the powerful hitter or anything. I'm more the technical player and kind of the smart player.
Okay.
And I'm also a very vocal player, so I'll talk to my team a lot.
Do you talk to the other team? Do you ever say, I know you probably know a lot of these guys too.
I would say most definitely not, but because, college coaches might not like that. Maybe they do.
Right.
But I would say if they're pissing me off, then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there friendly rivals?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially in club volleyball and in high school volleyball, you would know a lot of these players because you see them all year round. So definitely talk a little smack when you're playing against your friends.
Yeah, and I know if you haven't been to a volleyball game in an environment like this, it's intense. The volume gets up. You can feel, I'm just getting kind of the chills right now thinking about that because it is really fun to watch. Do you feel that intensity flow out of the stands onto the court?
For sure, especially in the CIF games when we get a really big crowd, that's when it gets electric.
What is it about Southern California volleyball, and maybe you haven't yet gone to the East Coast or the South or whatever to play high school volleyball? What's the main difference if you were to say
the main difference in Southern California is volleyball is just a huge thing here compared to anywhere else in the country because I've played teams for club all the way out in Florida or even Alaska. I've played a team from Alaska, but definitely just here we definitely produce the best players and it's the best competition of volleyball where you can be a whole nation.
I'm going to put you on the spot, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Since you're finishing up the show with me. Your coach, I covered him when he was playing. Great athlete, just like the two-sport athlete too. How do you see him as a coach? You're going to have him the next 2 years. What is his strengths that you really enjoy?
I would say our coach's strength is definitely very vocal. And that's what you would want from a coach. You would want someone to make sure you're pushing as hard as you can and they'll get on you when you're down. Because if you have someone that's just like laid back, he's not going to push you. You're not going to really force yourself to get better. So you need someone like that.
You said, if you have someone laid back, and it reminded me, he has your back, right?
Yeah.
He'll talk to the official. He might talk to somebody else on the court, right? How important is that when you see a coach that will step into that real role and his head's not back in the classroom teaching class, it's on the court?
Yeah, that's really important because if you're not locked in the game, and if you're not giving your 100%, then you're not going to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to put everything you have into each game, every single practice, every single game.
At this level, is it possible, I think it is because Coach kind of alluded to, if I'm coming into Mission as a freshman or if I'm a sophomore, can I still come out and play volleyball? Can I learn at the level that you guys are at, or am I behind the 8 ball?
No, for sure. Especially my brother, for example, he didn't start till his freshman year. He was not good at the sport at all throughout high school. And if you look at him now, he's playing tournaments with 23-year-olds, winning tournaments, making money off of it. And so
it's not too late to start?
No, definitely not. You have whole time, plenty of time.
Do you ever see kids around campus or in class like, that guy would be a good volleyball player?
For sure. I do it all the time, especially. I mean, you just look at someone and they're athletic because you know what they play other sports. And you're like, dude, you got to get them on the volleyball court.
Yeah, and we talked about it already. You're going to lose some athletes this year, right? You're going to step into a bigger role. What's it going to take talent-wise or the dynamics of this team to get you to that next step, that further into the playoffs? Maybe a CIF title.
I would say, especially because this next year we're losing a lot of big guys, I would say we really need to focus on our defensive volume of the game.
Yeah.
So I would say our blocking especially, and definitely our defense.
When you look at your game, and I've asked this question too, what do you want to improve on?
Definitely, I want to be more athletic, more explosive, a little stronger, but that will come as time, and I'll hopefully a little taller as well. But definitely, I just want to be, for the things I can control, obviously, I would want to be a good teammate because hopefully I will step into that role of being a leader next year and being a captain for our team. So I would definitely just want to stay positive.
Yeah, well, I know you're a leader because when I asked Coach to pick 3 players to be on the show, he picks 3 players that really exemplify his program. and he picked you. You are the future, and congratulations for a great interview and just a fantastic job. Your parents, I'm sure, proud of you. Good luck to you.
I appreciate it.
All right, man. That was awesome.